Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So approaching as fast as the NCAA tournament, so I thought that today I would give y'all 7 upsets that have a good chance of happening, and then a couple of honorable mentions. For the upsets, I will not include 9/8 and 10/7 games because those games are usually a toss-up and I don't consider them upsets. Anyways, hope you enjoy the video. So for each upset that I think can happen, I will just go over a few notes for each team, as well as why I think that the underdog can win. With that being said, the first upset that I think can happen is Miami versus Drake. So to look at Miami, their team is really efficient shooting. They have really efficient team free throw percentage. They have a beefy center, and their team has good depth, but their starting 5 can also score pretty well. They also have a star player named Isaiah Wong, who is averaging 16 points a game, and then a secondary guard that is really good, named Jordan Miller, averaging 15 points per game. And Ken Pom also says they have an elite offense and just a mid defense. Now looking at Drake, they have a very experienced starting lineup with 3 or 4 seniors / grads, and that means that they have been to the NCAA tournament before. They also have 2 really good players in Tucker DeVries, who was the MVC player of the year, and then Roman Penn, who's really good at defense and can also put up about 12 points a game. Some more notes on this team is that they have good team free throw percentage. They're pretty efficient, and they hold their opponents to under 64 points a game. And that results in a Ken Pom ranking of 44 in adjusted defensive efficiency. And they also have a big center. So why do I think Drake can win? Well, they match up very nicely with Miami size-wise. Their centers are pretty much the same size, and I think that Roman Penn will do a really good defensive job on Isaiah Wong. Also, Drake is more experienced than Miami because they have a bunch of seniors, and they've also been in the NCAA tournament before, so they won't be nervous for the opening round of 64. And towards the end of the game, if it gets close, I just trust the more experienced team with a better free throw percentage shooting to win. With all that being said, I would give Drake a 40% chance to win this game. The second upset that I think can happen is Tennessee versus Louisiana. Tennessee being the 4 seed and Louisiana being a 13 seed. So some notes on Tennessee. First of all, they lost their starting point guard, Zakai Ziegler, so that is a very big loss. More notes on them is that they have an insanely good defense, ranked by Ken Pom as second best adjusted defensive efficiency in the country, although they did lose their starting point guard, Ziegler, so that will make their defense a little worse. Ken Pom also says their offense is good, but watching them, they just don't flow well. They can't make 3-pointers and just aren't efficient in general. So I think that ranking is a bit off. They do rebound the ball very well and get a lot of offensive rebounds, 13 to be exact. They also have a good coach named Rick Barnes, who has been to the tournament many times, so that is a plus for them. Now looking at Louisiana, they have a really good offense, but they have a bad team free throw percentage. Their team is pretty tall, and they also have 3 above average offensive weapons, and they are also pretty good at rebounding. Their team is really experienced with a lot of seniors, and one of those being Jordan Brown, and he is one of the best power forwards in college basketball. So why do I think Louisiana can win? Well, because Tennessee sucks at offense and can't shoot at all. Tennessee's defense will not be as good without Ziegler. Jordan Brown needs to go off and carry this team, which he is capable of doing. And both teams are good at rebounding. So basically the only thing Tennessee is better at than Louisiana is defense. And although defense, in my eyes, is more important than offense in the tournament, I would give Louisiana about a 40% chance of winning this game. The third upset that I could see happening is Iowa State versus either Mississippi State or Pitt. So this one is pretty simple in my eyes. I have never seen a bipolar team like Iowa State. One day they beat a top 10 team like Baylor, they actually beat them like 3 times, and then they lose to a trash team. It almost seems like they play to their opponent's level, meaning they play bad with bad teams and good with good teams. Because of this, I think that if Mississippi State ends up winning their first 4 games, their game against Iowa State will be below 100 points because both teams are atrocious on offense and stellar at defense, being top 6 in adjusted defensive efficiency. If Pitt wins the first 4 games, they will have a tough matchup with Iowa State because Pitt sucks at defense and they are really good at offense. I should also mention that Iowa State lost their starting shooting guard for the season and has a freshman point guard, so those are 2 negatives to them. I would give both Mississippi State and Pitt a 50% chance of winning this game. The fourth upset that I could see happening is Kentucky versus Providence. Providence being 11 seed and Kentucky is 6 seed. So some notes on Kentucky is that they're hot as of late. They have a solid defense that do not allow a lot of rebounds, and they get a lot of rebounds from Oscar Tshiebwe, who is one of the best college basketball players. Basically meaning that they are one of the best rebounding teams in the nation, but they are not a great free throw shooting team. Kentucky has star players, like I said earlier, Oscar Tshiebwe and Antonio Reeves, who can lead the offense, resulting in an adjusted offensive efficiency of ranking at 14. Kentucky also has an elite coach, Coach Calipari. This team is more experienced than many previous Kentucky teams, and they're just a really solid team in general. Now looking at Providence, they also are really good at rebounding team and can put up a lot of points. Although they might have a tough time matching up against Oscar Tshiebwe, but their center is also beefy, just a bit shorter than him. They have a star player named Bryce Hopkins, who is one of the best players in the nation, and this will also be a revenge game because he transferred from Kentucky, so I bet he will go off. Providence also has experienced guards, and then they have a great coach in Ed Cooley. So why do I think Providence can win? Well, like I said earlier, Bryce Hopkins' revenge game, he's going to go off. Providence just needs to contain Oscar from getting a lot of offensive and defensive rebounds. And who on Kentucky is going to guard Bryce Hopkins? So with that being said, I would give Providence a 35% chance of winning. The fifth upset that I could see happening is St. Mary's versus VCU. VCU being a 12 seed and St. Mary's being a 5 seed. Looking at St. Mary's, their offense is either really cold or really hot. They have a couple of good guards and a tall center, just a solid starting 5. Their shooting is solid with solid efficiency, but their team free throw percentage is really bad. They also play really slow, with the 4th slowest tempo in college basketball. Looking at their defense, they match up pretty well to anyone. They have a top 10 defense or adjusted defensive efficiency, and they allow little rebounds. Looking at VCU now, they have a really good defense with lengthy guards, wings, and center, although they do foul a lot. Their offense is mid. They have a mid-tempo, but it's still faster than St. Mary's. And they have no go-to scorer, but really good depth. So why do I think VCU can win? Well, they are just way more athletic than St. Mary's. Although they do foul a lot, the Gales are not the best free throw shooting team, so they will probably not make as many free throws as fouls. VCU's defense will shut down St. Mary's offense, so they won't have an offensive explosion. If VCU speeds up the tempo and keeps the score low, I believe that they will win. And looking at the location of the game, it's played in Albany, New York. So VCU being based in Virginia is a lot closer than St. Mary's. So, with that being said, I would give VCU a 36% chance to win. The sixth upset that I could see happening is Virginia versus Furman. Furman being a 13 seed and Virginia being a 4 seed. So now looking at Virginia, just like Tennessee, they had a key injury, losing Ben Vanderplas. Looking at their offense now, their offense is just bad. They don't put up a lot of points. They have decent efficiency, and they're one of the slowest teams tempo-wise in college basketball. Although their offense is just bad, their defense is elite. They have one of the best defenses, coached by a great defensive coach in Tony Bennett. Their size of a team matches up against anyone. They make their opponents miss shots. This could also be because the ACC just isn't good, but let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Their team has a lot of experience with Armand Franklin and Kihei Clark, who has a high IQ and a great passer. Now looking at Furman, they have 3 really good scorers. They have a great offense. They're an efficient shooting team, and their team is old, meaning they have good leadership, but they have never been to the NCAA tournament. They also have great depth. Looking at their defense is terrible. They won't grab many rebounds because they're small, which is a big negative for them. So why do I think Furman can win? Well, looking at the outcome of the game, I think that either Virginia will win by 15 or Furman squeaks out a win because their offense gets hot and Virginia doesn't put up a lot of points because of injuries and because they have been historically bad in the first round. So with that being said, I would give Furman a 32% chance of winning. So the last upset I'm going to give you guys before the honorable mentions is Indiana versus Kent State. Kent State being a 13 seed and Indiana being a 4 seed. Looking at Indiana, they got big man Trace Jackson Davis, who is a top 5 player in the nation, but he does the same move every time. I feel like a team can game plan against that and neutralize it, but he still is good. So anyways, Indiana has a defense that is above average. They have great size for a team, but not the best three-point shooting team. They also have a freshman named Jalen Hood-Schifino, who is a bucket and can pop off at any moment, or could just get hella cold. I think that Indiana can win if Jalen Hood-Schifino pops off, Indiana actually makes three-pointers, or Trace Jackson Davis just takes over. Indiana also has Mike Woodson, who is a great coach, and they are one of the more experienced teams in the tournament. Now looking at Kent State. Kent State has a great defense, but they don't match up the best against Trace Jackson Davis. Kent State has a solid offense with solid efficiency, and they get a lot of rebounds. Their top scorer is not efficient at all, though, which is a negative, but they are an experienced team. So why do I think Kent State can win? Well, I think they can win if they stop Trace Jackson Davis and make Indiana shoot the 3 ball, because Indiana is not that efficient. And if Kent State's top scorers shoot efficient, because they put up a lot of points but they are not efficient, they have a decent shot at winning. I would give Kent State about a 35% chance of winning this game. After hearing the 7 upsets that I think can happen, here are some honorable mentions. The first being a 5-seeded San Diego State versus 12-seeded Charleston. So San Diego State has one of the best defenses in the nation, but Charleston also has one of the best offenses in the nation. So I think San Diego State is just straight up a better team, but you never know. Another honorable mention is Texas versus Colgate. Colgate being a 15 seed, Texas a 2 seed. So Texas is really experienced and one of the best, most complete teams, but they're undersized. Colgate has an elite offense, and I think if they shoot the lights out, Texas could be in trouble. The final honorable mention is Duke versus Oral Roberts. So Duke has been getting hot at the right moment, and Kyle Filipkowski is a dog, but Max Asmus of the Golden Eagles is the best scorer in the nation, and Connor Vandover is 7'4" and could give Duke matchup problems, but I still think Duke is going to pull away in this one. So overall, in my bracket that I will make later, I would probably only pick a few of these upsets, but do not be surprised when they do happen. That is why I listed them today. Alright guys, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe to see more videos like this one, and thank you guys for watching. I will see y'all in the next video.